Okay, so we're going to start. Derek from Bettystown, we're going to start, okay? So welcome and thank you for joining us. My colleagues, Ella and Ray, are going to be switching with the sign language every 15 minutes, which I'm always delighted to have your support. And we just love to be more inclusive in our community, and what better way. And we also have Elaine in the background who's producer. So if you see someone providing links, sending links out, that's not me multitasking. It's my colleague, Elaine, who's in the background. And we also, I suppose myself, I worked for TrimMicro for 20 years. If you haven't ever been on a webinar joining me before, this is the third webinar of the series. I did one in October, one in November, and this one now in December concludes. So if you've missed the previous two, they're on our website on the events page, and I'll share the link later as well. I've worked with Trend for 20 years now nearly. I have two kids, 12 and 15. We have grown up together while I've worked in Trend, and ironically, my job evolved into education. And because Trend Micro, they're 34 years in business, the world's largest cybersecurity company, 7,500 employees around the world, and experts when it comes to cybersecurity. And therefore, we want to give back to our community through education. And that's what this is tonight. It's sponsored. This webinar is sponsored by Trend Micro. All the work that we do in community is free. And we are only just delighted to have you with us. So this webinar is recorded. We will host it on our events page. It'll take a few days to get up onto our web page. But you will, if you've registered for tonight, you've given us your email address, we will be sending you back a link to the events page, the one you used to dial into tonight, most likely. And there you will find the recording as well. And if you have any questions, put them please into the Q&A. And if you have any comments, just put them into the chat. Tonight's webinar is Let's Talk Kids and Screen Time Challenges. Are young people reckless in their use of technology? Is that what we think and assume, or do we know better? Do young people feel the effects of their time online on their health and on their well-being? Well, the Digital Wellness Lab from the Boston University Hospital has done a most recent pulse survey inviting teenagers from 13 to 17 years of age to answer a survey, asking a lot of questions. And I'm going to share some of those results with you because they're really interesting. And, you know, is it helpful or harmful overall? That's what we want to know, isn't it? All this screen time, it feels that since COVID, our kids are online more. And it's worrying because we're wondering, is it doing damage? They're not doing what they should be doing. What are they doing online? And what should I be doing about it? There's so many worries. And I'd like to say that tonight, the goal is to give you so many tools, to show you demonstrations, and to give you that sense of comfort that you don't know all the answers, but you definitely know, once again, the structure, the important things you need to know, and where to go when you have a question, okay? So I'll start with the stats, the survey stats on young people and what they think about their time online. And then, you know, young people, just like us, we're all plugged in all the time. So how do we help young people manage their time online? And from what age do they start doing it for themselves? At some point they have to, don't they? So what do we do? So I'm going to share some slides now with you, and Ella will be spotlighted. So you won't see me, but you'll see Ella. We have a new Zoom feature coming soon that will hopefully make this Zoom experience even better for our deaf community. Okay, so I'm just going to share slides. Okay, so I'm going to give you top tips. How to help your kids manage the screen time. How do you manage screen time, especially when they're 0 to 10 years of age? Top tips on that. Straight up, we're going to start into that. And then following on with tweens and teens. I think that's the ultimate reason you're on the call. But if you have questions, as I said, put them into the Q&A. What's a screen time management tool? What's it look like? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a demonstration and walk you through it, what it looks like and what cool stuff you're going to get from it to help you and your young person or persons when they're online, covering all Android, iOS, doesn't matter what device you have. There are screen time management tools out there and they're all the same. They just look slightly different. They do the same thing. Are you thinking of introducing TikTok to your teen for the first time? I've used TikTok because it's popular. But what I'm going to do is show you, if you're considering, if your young person is getting a device, a phone for Christmas, maybe they're going to be getting TikTok for Christmas or for an upcoming birthday or present. I'm going to show you a really nice way to introduce you and your child to TikTok, your teen to TikTok, and show you how to restrict inappropriate videos as a starting point, limit screen time when they're on it, set up screen time breaks. That's actually something you can do in TikTok. If you're thinking the same thing, but with Snapchat, and you're doing it for the first time with them, then I'm going to show you how to turn off notifications on that and how to set up time limits on Snapchat as well. You may have thought you can't, but you can. And I also do have YouTube, but I will leave that to the very end. If people are interested and they want to stay on, I can show you some really nice features on YouTube as well. And of course, excellent resources so that when you leave here tonight, you know where to go. In fact, when you finish this webinar, you will be redirected to our feedback form, but you're on our website. So you can just literally click around all the different pages on our website and you'll find all of our resources and great support for you as well. All for free, obviously. Okay, so Digital Wellness Lab, the Pulse survey I mentioned. So they were asked, right? There was about 1,500 teens asked, how frequently do you check your phone? So you can see here that more than 50–60% of young people check their phone between 5 and 15–30 minutes regularly. So it's regular, it's fair, it's a lot. And there's some really good features I'm going to show you that will actually tell you on your device how often you pick up your phone. On a typical weekday, what time do you stop using media for the night? So this is what young people said. So from 9 o'clock, 15%, 10 o'clock at night, a quarter of teens start switching off and stop using media, meaning anyhow they connect to the internet. 20% at 11 o'clock, quite late. And then you can see it tapers off. Do you use an app or tool on your phone or tablet that tracks how long you use it? This is quite interesting. So 42% versus 58%. So the 42% was that they did, and 58% was that they didn't think. But you can see here, females, 69%, yes, 42% yes, and 58% don't use a tool. And if you break that down further, females, 69% of them use a tool, and males, just 44%. So I think this is really indicative, and from working myself with young people, when you ask who uses screen time management tools themselves, the hands go up. I would say over the years, up until pre-COVID, it was about 50–60% of young people were using them. They want to manage their time. They don't want their phone managing them. And they use them. And it's interesting because anyone who doesn't put up their hand in the class when we're talking, they're like, what? Do you use it, really? So there's this fear of missing out. And they all are, I need to do this. I need to set up my screen time app. And I will show you what that is. I'm going to show you that tool, the screen time tool, right? What does it look like? How does it work? And when you see what it does, you will be on it yourself, I promise you. Okay, some more stats, just briefly. In your opinion, they asked teens, has your screen time media use encouraged or interfered with the following? So has it interfered with sleep, time you spent with family, schoolwork and homework? And you can see there the largest amount of interfered a lot or interfered a little. You can see the red, the pinks there are quite large. So it has had, I suppose it has had not so good impact from a sleep, time with family, and schoolwork, homework perspective. And then with physical exercise. And I think that's why it's really good to have a look at this, because these insights are great to talk to kids about, all ages, to improve and to encourage a healthier, safer, and more meaningful online experience. So whether your child is 7 or 17, even showing young people these, and some of you tonight may have young people with you listening in, and just to look at this, young people are honest and they are online a lot, like us all. And acknowledging this is the first step, isn't it? To being aware of your relationship with your device and how long you're on it and the impact it has on other parts of your life. Do you think social media makes each of the following better or worse? How you feel about your body, grades in school, family relationships, and friend relationships. So you can see there the biggest one is how you feel, so self-image. And that is being talked about a lot as well in circles, especially young people, both male and female, there is a pressure to conform, to be a certain way, and social media promotes and encourages that more and more. So people do feel that it makes it worse, that they feel worse about their bodies. Okay, they were just some statistics. Pulse survey from the Digital Wellness Lab, and I will give you some really good follow-up resources on that as well, because Dr. Rich, he's a pediatrician and mediatrician from the Children's University Hospital in Boston, and they have a massive amount of evidence-based research, and the information that they have is phenomenal. And a lot of our information here tonight, we will share based on what we have learned from them, and we work closely with them, they being the experts in the field. Okay, so if you've been to my previous webinars, I hope I've brainwashed you into the fact that it starts and never ends with the relationship with your child when it comes to the online world. Tech tools complement you in your relationship with children when they're online. So what I'm going to do is going to talk to you about the relationship first. When you're looking at screen times, kids of all ages, they want to be online, they have their own reasons for being online. So we need to prepare and have this environment for kids that it's a trusting, open environment. We listen, we don't overreact as much as we feel we need to sometimes. Overreact later with another grown-up. Open conversation. If your kids feel they can openly talk to you about things, you're on a winning streak. You're there. That's a gift if your child can feel they can talk to you about anything. Confiscating devices, be careful. The double-edged sword. If you confiscate a device because something happened, the problem may go away. However, and I've said this on previous webinars, a young person may feel they're not going to come to you again because you just take their device off them. So it's going to go underground. They're not going to tell you what's going on in their world anymore online. And that's not where we want to be as parents. Agree rules together. So when I talk to you about tech tools, obviously you're not going to negotiate rules with a 3-year-old. But what you do want to do is start agreeing rules as they get older and become young teenagers. And there's more of a chance that they're going to abide by the rules if they make them with you. And it's a great opportunity to build on the relationship, to talk about things, to keep those lines of communication open. Quality versus quantity. How much time should our kids be online? It's like the golden question, 0 to 2. The American Association of Pediatrics say they shouldn't be online. 2 to 5, maybe 1 to 2 hours, but supervised and high quality resolution screens. From 5 up, it's very grey. There's different data everywhere. But as a parent, as a guardian, we have to look after and safeguard our kids. And we have to look to see, I think the focus really needs to be about quality, not quantity. You may have noticed the data I showed you earlier on the pulse. It didn't say how long do you spend online every day. That's how fluid our devices are with us. We need it to set alarms, to take medicine, to do our shopping, to read our books, to communicate with family, to work, to do school stuff. So there's a lot of things that we need it for. So it's a gray area. Quality is what we need to focus on. Okay. Positive uses. We need to focus on quality time online, and we need to look at what are the positive uses of technology and media in general. How can kids and young people and us be great online? And I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. Actually, here is one. This is a shameless plug of a video competition that we are running at the moment. And if your kids like making videos, I have €6,000 to give away in cash prizes. And all they have to do is answer that question in a 2-minute video, upload it onto our website before, I think it's the 10th of January. So they have all over Christmas to do it. So, you know, what are positive ways that young people can be online? They can learn how to make film, edit, act, drama, writing, art, learn to improve their swimming, their maths, their coding, whatever it is that they love to do, they can work to improve that using the internet. That's quality time online. So we need to prioritize what they care about too, engaging with them. And when I work with a lot of young people, a lot of the feedback, they would say, we can't talk to our parents because they don't have a clue what we do online. And after we talk to the webinars with parents, their feedback is, I'm going to talk to my kids more because it's not it's an elephant in the room. It's not that complicated, you know, and nothing will ever replace the role of a parent. No piece of technology, no screen time tool, no settings will ever replace parents and teachers when it comes to the role of safekeeping and safeguarding our children and guiding them. So engaging with them positively, keeping them busy. So instead of, would you turn that off? It's, let's turn something else on. Things that they like to do. What do they like to do? That if you say it, okay, let's go. You know, what are those things? It's not easy all the time, especially if you're working or you're busy or, you know, you have things to do. But it's about that healthy balance, keeping them busy, focusing on the turning on something different, the distracting them away from it. And help them to learn to manage time. So what I said earlier, at what age do they start kind of doing this for themselves? Teens are using screen time management tools. They don't want to be annoyed when they're doing their homework. They don't want people buzzing them all the time when they're busy or watching a movie, or they have it set up. They're smart and they're using technology to help manage their online life. And we need to do the same. Okay, so the relationship, you and your device. What's your relationship like with your device? You know, have you thought about, you know, when I sit down, I used to sit down by the TV with family movie time, I would get the eyes off the kids. You seriously bringing your phone here? This is you're not allowed screen time. So the phone goes away. It's a dirty habit to get the phone out the minute you sit down. So we just don't do that. Movie time, no devices. Device meal time, no devices. Bedtime, no devices. Bedroom, no devices. You know, so we have rules like that in place. So talk about rules. So whatever you do, when your child does get a device, they will emulate what you do. And it's important to talk about quality time online, the good stuff, what you've learned. What have you learned? What has it taught you how to do? What have you used it for? You know, spending time together online. You can watch my previous episodes on the webinar on social media, which was done in November, social media and gaming, and the one before that as well on internet safety and, you know, how to spend time together online. It may not be the thing you'd ideally jump at, but you're showing your kids that you're going to spend time with them. Just like you'll stand by the side of the pool or the pitch, you'll do it online as well. You're there for them, even though it mightn't be something you want to do, but you're showing an interest and they crave your attention. Device-free meal times, like I said, great time to catch up. If you hear something in the news, have it as a conversation. I say this as well, usually on all webinars. You can imagine with the job that I do, my kids, if I even start talking about something, they'll think, here she is, off she is again now doing her internet safety job. So you're all on a foot, you're all ahead of me when it comes to family time and meal time. But if you hear something about a challenge that went wrong online and not the kids are doing it, or somebody said something, some famous person said something and it influenced others in good or bad ways, or charity, people were raising money, like the cool, great things that the internet can do, and the not so good. Just open it up for conversation. Don't have devices at the table. Cyber safe kids. I'm taking a break, a cyber break. See you all in 24 hours. They run cyber break once a year, an annual one, but you can do this any time of the year with your family. And Cyber Safe Kids, I was chairperson of Cyber Safe Kids for the last 7 years, and they're an amazing charity organisation, and they do fantastic work. So their website is full of great resources as well. So consider that. Take a cyber break. Screen-free days. Green versus screen time. Okay, guys, this is what I've been told by parents. Green versus screen time. Devices in the bedroom, like I said, no. Devices an hour before bed, no. Because it's like drinking coffee. When you're on a device, and especially with your eyes as well, close up to a screen, you're straining your eyes, it's causing fatigue, dry eyes, the whole lot. So it's not good, and it wires you up instead of winding you down. So an hour before bed, switch off. Now I know Kindles are a device, but you can put the darken the screen, make it easier on the eyes, and it's reading time. Some kids can't read going to bed because it wires them up. They stay up until 4 a.m. reading a book. That's where you need to check in with your kids as well. So devices an hour before bed, off. Okay, tech tools. I'm going to show you the screen time apps, how to manage content, what your kids see. There are things you do not want your kids to ever see until a certain age at least. Manage time. This webinar is about screen time management, the challenges on a daily basis. They want more time, more time. And with the holidays coming up, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, kids are going to be off school and they're going to have a lot more time on their hands. And if they're not active and doing things and with friends and family, they may just veer towards a device. So managing screen time in a healthy way is really important, and not having it as that forbidden fruit and creating it like that where they just constantly want more of it. That 15 more minutes thing, that would wreck your head. Settings, really important. The blue light, like I said, an hour before bed, no devices. Melatonin is secreted at nighttime. It makes us yawn, makes us feel tired, gets us sleepy, and prepares our bodies for going to sleep. The blue light that comes off a device and screens reduces the amount of melatonin, the chemical secreted in our brains. That's a science. So that's a reason to explain to kids why. Kids listen to logic. They mightn't listen to, don't want you being on it for an hour. Can we just talk about this and agree rules here? I'll tell you why an hour before bed. This thing called melatonin is a chemical. Explain it to them, because it doesn't help them sleep. And if they don't get sleep, they're going to be up early in the morning for school. They're going to be, eating sugar for energy. They're going to be a bit more cranky and irritable, not being able to concentrate the next day. If they are anxious, their anxiety can be heightened because of tiredness. So explaining this to them, what happens to their body when they've lack of sleep? And that's why it's so important. Notifications, when kids are doing their homework and the friends are buzzing on something, and the device is hopping. It could be a tablet they're using for gaming, and they're trying to get their friends gaming, and your kids are maybe having family time or there's something going on. Turn it off, and I'll show you how to turn notifications off. Do not disturb. Simply on this, pull it down on your device, and it's like a half moon shape. Press it. Do not disturb. So phone calls will come in, text messages will come in, but you won't hear it. It won't shake, it won't buzz, it won't vibrate. Siri, Google Assist, Alexa, they are amazing. Did you ever go to your device to just text someone? And half an hour later, you come out of it forgetting why you went into it in the first place. This is good. I'm going to show you why and what you can do. Maybe you haven't realized its full potential. Or maybe you have. And if you have, let others know, because it can stop you from getting distracted with your device. And it's a great way to manage your device. Learn new things. And I'm going to talk to you about the Cyber Academy. So, like I said, we're going to talk about 7 to 10-year-olds first, and then teens, tweens. With the teens, teens, the relationship is of utmost importance. With the smaller kids, conversation is great, and that's where the Cyber Academy, Trin Micro, it's free. There's 10 episodes in there at the moment, and they are excellent short videos, the whole lot I'll show you, just to get kids into it. It's 15 minutes an episode, 10, 15 minutes an episode. You can sit down with them or encourage the teacher to do it with their class once a week, maybe on a Friday, get them all happy, or on a Monday to wake them up and just get them having that conversation. And it's a great way to open it up. Okay, so setting the rules with smallies from a young age. What devices are they going to use? You decide that. Is it one communal one? When are they allowed to use it? Because they're at school, or they're in play school, or what age are they? Maybe they have devices for school already and they need it for home. How long are they going to be on the device? And this is what this entire webinar is about. How long should they be on it? But again, let's remember, it's not about quantity. It's about quality, because screen time is such a great area. We use it for everything. If you're a diabetic, you need it for insulin. There are so many medical reasons why you would need to have your device on all the time. So let's just let go of that screen time quantity, how much time. Let's focus on quality and what they're doing online, how they're benefiting from it. And then where? Kids from 0 to 10, they should be in your line of vision. You should always be able to see them and what they're doing. It doesn't matter how many safety settings and privacy settings and fancy tools you have. Things can go wrong and kids can see things, and you need to be there to see what's happening and to hear what's happening. And with whom? So agreeing, and all of these things, you agree with them as they get older. So why should you only talk to friends that you know? That's an easy one for you to talk to them about. And it's easy for kids when they're gaming to actually be chatting to people they don't know online. And that's when the safety settings come in and the parental controls, where you do it with them and show them. And we have previous webinars showing you how to do that as well. Okay, so how do I talk to my small kids about managing time online? That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Seriously, can I really teach my kids how to self-manage their time online? Well, we have to start somewhere, don't we? So if you look at the Digital Wellness Lab, this is about avoiding the forbidden fruit. Don't make the online world like this forbidden fruit. Kids can only have an hour a day, because they'll just want more and more and more. You know yourself what you can have, you want. So if you sit down with your child, if they're from 0 to 10, obviously not 0, but as they get older, sit down and let's talk to them about 24 hours in a day. What do you do in 24 hours? Sleeping, meals, exercise, schoolwork, homework, reading, fun and hobbies, time with family and friends. And then there's the time left over. And the time left over is the precious piece that kids want to do all their fun stuff. They don't want to have their bath and their shower. They want to have their fun stuff. So within this, we decide, okay, well, what are you going to do with that time? And what you're doing here is you're helping them understand that the 24 hours of their day, first of all, there is 24 hours. Second of all, they can't spend it online, the whole 24 hours. And you're showing them all the important things in their life, the value of sleeping, healthy eating, exercise for their body, and then relationships and social activities and school and academia. But then time for them is very important too. Okay, so roll on the Cyber Academy, right? Trinmicro.com Cyber Academy. The 10 episodes are in there. If you go to that, you'll find it. But this is the time online one. And this is for kids, specifically 7 to 10. And part of it is, so there's a short little 3-minute video, animated video, there's a conversation guide, and there's a real cool quiz for them, and there's this activity sheet. Fill in this below and, color it in the clock. What do you do at the different times of the day? So they're learning and they're journaling what they're writing down what they do, and it's really helping them learn about time and the importance of the things they do in their day. And, what was great about what you did online? When you had a screen-free meal, what did you talk about? Showing them the importance of having screen-free meals. So this is about getting kids to really think things through and for you to work with them. So that's just a snapshot of the video. This is a snapshot of the chat. So there's a conversation guide for parents and teachers. All the questions asked kids and all the answers and things that you can talk to them about. And then that's a snapshot of the quiz. The best way to get homework done? Definitely not asking the dog to do it. So that do not disturb sign. Stop the notifications coming in. Get rid of distractions. And that's what the episode is all about for kids. So that's for kids 7 to 10. Now, what I'm going to show you for the remainder of this webinar is the tech tools. So whether you have Android devices, iOS devices, or you may have Microsoft platform, whatever, or you may have a mix, right? So I'm going to show you these screen time tools and what they look like and what they do. And ultimately, when your kids get devices and they have apps and games and they're on all these things and you're thinking, how am I going to manage this? This is something that you can do. So for example, if you have an iOS device and your child has an Android device, you can download Family Link to your phone and set it up and manage their time and everything they're accessing from your device to their device. And the same with Microsoft, they have something similar, and the same with family sharing with iOS. That's called screen time. I'm then going to show you a short video demonstration on TikTok. If you're introducing TikTok to your teen for the first time, best way to go about it, right? When it comes to screen time management and opening up the conversation with them. If it's their first time and your first time, you do it together, you learn together, you grow together. It's an opportunity to talk all the time together about it. And remember, technology and apps, young people, all of us, the things we say and do online are a choice that we make. Our behaviors are choices. And that's where the value of the relationship comes in. If your child is kind or unkind, to call that out and say that was wonderful, or maybe we need to understand why you said that. Are you, were you jealous, or, just exploring that. So being online together with them is a great way to open up conversations, excellent opportunities, and see it that way always. And I've said this in previous webinars, you have to do the time with this, okay? Okay, so the top 3 I'm going to do first. Just going to briefly show you Family Link and Microsoft Family Safety, and then I'm going to actually show you a demonstration on how to set it up, the screen time in iOS. But that's purely because I have an iOS. I am getting an Android device for the new year from Santa, from Micro Santa, and I will be doing more demos on Android device for people. So please don't think that I'm pro iOS. It's just that I have an iOS device and that's how the tutorials are being done. But I will have more Android in the future, I promise. So my apologies in advance. Okay, and after that then I'll just show you quickly the TikTok, and they're not complicated and they're recorded, so you can watch it back and slow it down and watch it again, and it's always there for you, okay? So what is Family Link? It's an app you download onto your Android device from the Google Store, or you can download it onto your iOS device from the App Store. And what does it do? It puts daily limits for your kids. So if your kids have tablets, like if you look at CyberSafe Kids annual research, 85% of kids from 8 to 12 own their own devices. So if they have an Android device, you can manage the amount of time they're online, and you can block it then after that time has been used up. And they cannot download an app unless you approve it, and you'll be notified. So on your phone, oh, Johnny has just asked me if he wants to download this. Great opportunity to sit down and talk to them. Why do you want that now? What's the age rating? I've been through all the settings and all of that on previous webinars. Great opportunity to talk to them. And you'll either approve it or you won't. And if you don't, you'll have to come up with another solution for them. And you may have to research it together. The same thing applies with Microsoft. And Family Link does the same. It sets screen time limits. You agree it with them, obviously, as they're getting older. And especially, coming up to the holiday season now and Easter and summer, you may have to extend the times for them and be practical and reasonable with them as well when they're not in school and they have more time. You can filter content so that it's appropriate for their age and that they only see age-appropriate things. You get reports on what they've been doing, on how long have they been on what. Great way to talk to them. Show them. This is what teens are doing. They're looking at what they've been doing all week. And it's helping them be more informed about their choices of how they spend their time online. And, for example, with my kids, like if one of them lost their phone, we're all connected. So I can see where it is, or they don't actually, one has a phone. He's nearly 16, but, or if it's just useful, you can share things. Find your family. So that's Microsoft, and it's the Microsoft Family Safety, and that's the website, account.microsoft.com/family. You go there. It's so self-explanatory on how to use it if you're using Microsoft. Apple. So apple.com family sharing, again, these web pages that I've showed you the previous two as well, very easy to follow. And this is the one I'm going to show you. You can, when you set up, if all of your family have Apple, it means that you can set up iCloud accounts, just like Gmail accounts. So for the Family Link, you will have to set up Gmail accounts if your kids have Android devices, and set them up with the Gmail accounts, and you're the guardian of them, and then connect them all in under Family Link. And for example, it's the same here, except it's an iCloud account I set them up under. We can, if I buy something, I can share it with the kids, storage, location, and I can manage screen time and music and so on. So there's a lot of benefits to it. Okay, so I'm going to play. Let me stop it. Setting up screen time on iOS. So I'm going to settings on my iOS device, my phone. Going to family. Now, you can see here straight away when I went settings into screen time, this is for me as mobile, right? You can see my daily average is 4 hours, 16 minutes, 14% increase on last week. And if you click see all my activity, you're going to see in more detail, what have I been doing? Where, what apps? And you see down below downtime, I have that turned off, but I can actually turn it and not allow myself on my device. App limits, limit the apps I'm allowed to use and for how long. Who can I communicate with? What am I always allowed to use? There are some apps I can use all the time. And restrictions for safety and privacy on content and inappropriate content. These are all the things that you can set up for your kids on screen time, on Family Link, on Microsoft, depending on the devices that you have. So I'm going to just click on see all activity to show you. And straight away here, you can see 55 minutes productivity and finance, 39 minutes social. And you can see here, if I just click there down below and scroll down, you can see exactly how much I was on email, WhatsApp, Snapchat, on my clock. You can see it's broken down into social, creativity. You can do it by day and by week. Okay, so I've just gone there into downtime, clicked downtime, and I want to schedule downtime, okay? So one of the really important things, whether you've Android, Microsoft, or iOS, you need to make sure that all devices are on the same software update. So if any of them needs an update, you need to do it. Otherwise, they won't sync. And whatever changes and rules you make, they won't pass over. And again, remember, the older your kids are, the more you have to agree these rules up front with them first, okay? Or with them as you're setting them up. Okay, so I am going to go to turn on downtime until tomorrow. You can schedule it same every day, or I can customize it. So if I customize it, maybe Wednesday I want downtime to stop. I want devices off at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, maybe every night of the week. And, maybe it's okay later in the day at weekends. App limits, I might decide, okay, on social, actually, Snapchat, I want to limit Snapchat. So I'm going to go in here into Snapchat, click next, and then say, okay, an hour on Snapchat is enough. I'm going to customize the days. It's okay on weekends for my kid, my daughter, son, 2-3 hours, whatever. You agree with them and you add it, and it's blocked at the end of that time. So you can add limits to specific apps. Okay. Now, if you actually go into Snapchat itself, you can't do that like you can with TikTok, for example. But this is how you can do it with Snapchat. Okay, so during screen time, so this is just showing you who can communicate with me. And what if when my screen time is down, can someone still, so say you were out for the night and the babysitter's there, but you wanted to communicate with your kids, maybe it's okay that you communicate with them. And then here, look at all these things that you're always allowed to have. The map, calculator, calendar, camera, Fitbit, music, photos, podcasts, VS for school. These are all the things you're allowed to have. And let's say we want to add another one. So Aladdin is a school app. And there you go, I've added it. You just click it and it's there. Content privacy and restrictions. So there's a lot of stuff in here, right? You can, the App Store, allowed apps, and content restrictions. So let's just look at the App Store. So always require a password. If someone's installing an app, you want a password. And you can't just allow them to install an app, it has to come to you for permission. So these are just all the different things you can do. Content restrictions, chose movies, PG. So on the device that they're on, PG only. You can go through each and every one of these. Unrestricted or limit adult websites. If there's a website you and your child have decided is not healthy for them, you don't agree with it, you're not happy with it, you agree it together that it's no longer something for the moment, you can put the website in there and it'll be blocked from the device from being accessed. Okay. Scroll down, look at the amount of things you can do. Explicit language on Siri, if you ask Siri to do something. Now remember that all of these things are also available on Family Link for Android devices and Microsoft. They just look slightly different, okay? Okay, so that was iOS screen time. And now I'm going to talk to you about TikTok. And if your child is getting TikTok for the first time, maybe they're getting a device for the first time for a Christmas present, maybe. I found this really interesting and they're great questions. And all you have to do within TikTok is go to settings, it's there in pink, settings and privacy, support, scroll down to support and the safety center. And you can find digital well-being. And it asks you here are the great questions to ask to help support you and reflect. So before you use TikTok, what are you using it for? So here are the things. So how will you spend your time online? Great conversation to have with your son or daughter, whoever, that you're allowing them have TikTok and a device for the first time. The minimum age is 13, like I've said on the previous webinar, and we've been through it. How are you going to spend your time online? Let's think about before. And there's some brilliant questions in here if you go in here. But just before you go online, what's the purpose of it? Is it just to relax? Do you want to chat with people? Do you want to play games? Or is it for entertainment? What is it for? Be aware of it. And then, is there other stuff you should be doing instead of being online at the moment? Being conscious of that before you go on it and during it. So be conscious of, how do I feel as I'm about to go on it? How do I feel during it? And how do I feel after I've been on it? It's interesting. Just as an experiment, even. Both of you do it sometime. You know, maybe there's been an influencer has really positive influenced you, and you are just so excited about a project you want to start doing. Or maybe an influencer has really, you just don't feel good about yourself. Remember the statistics earlier about body image. You just don't feel like you've got it going on, and you're not feeling good about your body now. So let's talk about it. So raising awareness with young people, especially tweens and teens, about when they're online, how they feel. And then after, what did you actually go on for? Remember what I said earlier? You go to your device to do something, and half an hour later, hey, what did I go on it for? You get distracted, right? So what did you go on for? And did you do what you intended to go on it for? And then next time, how can you make it better next time? Because this mindless scrolling is what we want to avoid. We want quality time online. We want to learn things. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have fun. We want to entertain ourselves. We want to have chats. That's all okay. That's quality time online. Mindless scrolling is not so quality, for example. So talking about it is really important. And even going to that digital wellness lab pulse survey with young people and with teens and talking to them about it, just open up the conversation with them. And what do you need from me? How can we as parents and guardians, how can we support you with your time online? And they more than like get on TikTok with them, have a TikTok account. If you're giving your teen a TikTok account, get one, right? There's another really important reason I'm going to show you. And how can we support you? So sometimes, for example, my son will say he's got so much going on, but he gets distracted and he goes onto his phone. So I said, well, do you want to use the settings to stop you from doing it from certain times until your homework is done? That would be great. So we do it together, right? Turn off notifications or block this app that he loves going on until he's finished his homework. But he's aware of it. So raising awareness is really important. Okay. So managing screen time on TikTok. Restricting and inappropriate. So I'm just going to show you this first while I have you, and it's on the tutorial. I said, this is the settings tab here. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, I've gone ahead myself. Sorry, the TikTok one. Okay. So into TikTok, inappropriate videos on TikTok. You go in there, that's the settings. Click on settings at the bottom, go to content preferences, restricted mode. So you want to turn this on. It limits videos that may be inappropriate, and you need to put in a passcode that you do not share with children, and you need to confirm that passcode, and now it's on. Okay, so that will restrict content that's inappropriate for them. And one thing that's really important as well, when your child is opening an account on TikTok, is they put their accurate year, whether that be, that they're 13, 14, 15, because TikTok acknowledges when they're between 13 and 16, and it safeguards them from a lot of things. It has automatic privacy settings set up for them if you give your accurate age. A lot of young people lie about their age and date of birth, and they're not protected as a result. So this is something I would strongly recommend that you do with your child when you're setting it up for the first time with them. Okay, so settings and privacy, scroll all the way down, screen time. Look, you can see here straight away the time spent, Avril's time spent, 8 minutes. Wasn't that much on TikTok. And up here at the top, you see that daily screen time. So you can actually get notified when you reach your screen time. You just click here. You can decide 40, 60, 90 minutes. Just say, right, I just want 40 minutes. Go back again, then confirm, put in my passcode that I don't share with anyone. And there we go. So for example, if I'm on TikTok now for 45 minutes, I won't. It'll pop up, give me 5-minute warning and say, your time is up. And I have to consciously put in my code to allow me back in for more time. But it makes me really think. So that's for you with a TikTok account that you're going to set up or that you have. For your child, it's going to be different, but it's the same as in, and let me show you. Okay, so before I set up your kid's account on TikTok, you can schedule breaks on TikTok. So you get a reminder, listen, you've been on it for 30 minutes, go take a break, take a hike. So you can actually set that up on TikTok. So I'm going to sit 30 minutes, after 30 minutes, take a break. And there we go, 30-minute break. I'll get a reminder to take a break. And you can get into your inbox in the app a report about your screen time use. So again, raising awareness about your relationship with your TikTok account. And down the bottom as well, you see app opened. How many times did I open TikTok? Every day. 4 times on the 4th of December. Okay, so now we're looking at family pairing. When your child is about to open their TikTok account, how do I open that account with them and what is the best way to start? It's called family pairing, and it will help you manage a lot of things, including managing screen time and inappropriate content. So go to settings and privacy, and you see there family pairing. It's just under screen time. So for yourself, screen time, you've done it. You've set up your own, right? On your own account, on your own phone, we've went through the screen time. But family pairing is for your child, and it's their first time. So this is basically, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. I've done this again. Nearly there. Just press the wrong button. Okay, so when you click family pairing, it allows you to customize your teen's TikTok experience and settings for a safer experience. So you can set limits on their watch time on TikTok. Now, again, they need to agree to this. And I think the benefit of this is if they've never been on it before and you're allowing them and you've agreed it, they're responsible, you know, you've talked about responsible behavior online, you've talked about kindness, the importance of respecting self and others online and all of that stuff. You've decided they're going to have, you've both agreed, they're getting it. You've set up your account, they're going to set up theirs. This could be part of the agreement. The time that you're setting up with them, and then their privacy and safety and all the things we've done there. You can set up safety and privacy, and you can safety and privacy I've done in the previous webinar in November as well, in more detail, that you can watch back. Okay, so all you do is go into family pairing like this, and you click parent because the assumption is you're in your own device, right? And you click parent. I am the parent. This is the parent phone. And then it says, okay, scan this code. So it basically gives you a code, that code, and your teen will get their phone and they will open up their TikTok account and they will scan your code, open up their camera and scan it. And it basically connects your account to their account. So the teen, this is what the teen will see when they click, scan the QR code from your parent's account. Okay. And from there, you will do all of these things with them together and talk about why and really open up the importance of conversation and all the worries that you have and the fun and excitement they have, you know? So that is the screen time and the family pairing, okay? And I'm now going to just show you the Snapchat one briefly, just to show you how to turn off notifications. You can turn off notifications on every app. I'm just going to show you the Snapchat one. So into Snapchat, there's me, into my settings. First here, family center. Now, in here, it's kind of familiar, doesn't it look like the TikTok one almost? This is new from them, the family center. So basically, in order to do this, you have to invite your child to this. And again, This is a perfect opportunity if you're deciding to allow your child, your teen, to have Snapchat, where you're both together in an agreement and you're going to embark on this Snapchat journey together. You're setting up Snapchat, they're setting up Snapchat. You learn from each other, show each other things, and just that whole sense of talking to each other. They can tell you anything because you're on it. You know what's going on. They won't be chatting to you all the time. They'll be chatting to their friends, but you're there for them. But what this does is you can view your teen's friends. So you can encourage your teen to only add people they know. You can see who they've messaged. Now, it's really important to be aware that you will not see what your teen is actually posting or sharing because there's a fine line when it comes to privacy and respect and boundaries. It's like reading their diary, isn't it? So, but this is more about, Snapchat came together working with parents and young people alike to come up with this. And a lot of the Pulse survey research that we got as well is that young people actually are okay with rules. They're okay having rules and boundaries and restrictions, and they're important to protect them. They understand that. So you can see who they've messaged and you can look at abuse, reporting, how to report, and so on. And it gives you comfort. But I think it also sets up the young person to say, yeah, this is serious. Like, I mean, this is a big thing I'm getting and I don't want to abuse it. I'm going to be responsible. And my parent trusts me with this. And, so click on that. Now you have to invite the person and they have to accept in order to go to the family, to join the family centre. And you see this learn more in the quick start guide. For parents, it's a great guide to read and to have a look at. And it really gives you a lot more information about the family centre. Family policy, if you have a safety concern for parents, law, and a lot of resources. Really easy to read as well. Okay, so jumped on a little bit, but here's how you turn off notifications. In the settings, you scroll down to notifications to stop that constant bombardment when you're trying to do homework or, so you can go in here and look at all the notifications you could be getting on one app alone. So you can just flick them all off. Okay, you might want to get reminders of birthdays and, different mentions like that and special close friends that you've highlighted. But there's a lot of stuff you don't need notifications for, so you can just turn all them off. So that's Snapchat. And conscious of time, and all I have left is this tech tool on, remember I said earlier about going to your device and you forget what you went to it for and you saw something else and you got distracted and you've wasted a half an hour when you should have been doing something else. So when you say, and I can't say it or this thing will start acting up, I'll turn it on airplane mode. I should have done that in the first place. Hey Siri, or hey Alexa, or hey Google Assist. And these are the things you can get it to do. Add to shopping list. Add milk to the shopping list. Set an alarm for an hour. It's time because you need to turn off the whatever, spuds. Send an email to so-and-so. Open WhatsApp and send this message for me. That way, you're not opening WhatsApp and seeing all the messages you have to read, right? Hey, Siri, any new emails for me? How many? Siri will read them out for you, or Alexa. So you could be doing in the kitchen or whatever you're doing, wherever you are, you can get your phone to be doing some work for you, like a secretary, right? You can send emails, call Donna, call whoever it is you need to call. So instead of going to your phone and seeing things that can distract you, you're telling your device to make a phone call because that's what you need to do. Multiply. You can tell it to open up the calendar and multiply something for you, again, so as not to get distracted by other things you might see in your phone. Search for something on Google. It will do it for you, so as you're not distracted. Wake me up in 2 hours. Set my alarm. Schedule appointments. So say you just got off the phone and you had to go and put something into a calendar. You don't have to do that. You can get your phone to do it for you. Hey, open up a calendar invite. Remind me to do something. So I can't stress this enough, because remember, every time you go to your device, it can be such a distraction. You get lost in there for half an hour. So try it. If you haven't and you're not using it already, try it. So reduce distractions. Audio to text as well. It's fantastic for people with especially learning difficulties, but even if you don't, it's just great. There's a lot of benefits to it, actually. Okay, so that's one tech tool that I think is worth mentioning when it comes to managing your screen time, and get kids involved in it too, so they're not distracted. You want them to use their devices in a savvy way where they're mastering their device, managing it, not the other way around. So to conclude, these are the resources on our Cyber Academy, and this is where you're going to find them, from micro.com Cyber Academy. And these are all the different episodes. They're each 10 to 20 minutes long, depending on how much conversation you have with kids. And you start off with passwords and you end up in kindness, camera safety. There's so much really good stuff in there. Short videos, fun activity sheets, quizzes, and there's a Q&A for you as a grown-up to look at, to help you ask them questions and to look at what the right answer is and what good things you can talk to them about. So the top 5 are kind of more safety, security, apps and settings. The bottom 5 are all about behavior, things that are right to do online, my body, my physical health, my mental health, kindness. And the last one, misinformation, is something we're really, really passionate about. Not believing everything you see online, kids, especially when it comes to homework, and doing proper checks. And that's a really good one as well. But we left it till the end. It's probably more for 9 to 10-year-olds, but still really important. And we've got some good ones coming too on copyright and scams. But these are the 2 out of those 10 at the Cyber Academy for managing screen time that I'd recommend you look at. So the Time Online Challenge, which I mentioned earlier, and the Healthy Habits Challenge as well is really good. Just to show them, well, how can I be healthy online? What can I do online that's healthy and good for me? Just to give them ideas. We also, if you'd like more webinars, we have previously recorded webinars. So I was producer of these. My boss is Lynette Owens, based in Boston, and I was the producer behind the scenes on all of these. And these are some that I've just put up, but if you go to trendmicro.com internet safety webinars, there's loads, there's over 20 of them, but these are ones I thought you might find interesting. Tips for setting new screen time rules, but they're webinars, full on, half an hour to an hour, interviewing the experts. Dr. Rich is in that red one from the Boston University Hospital. At the Cyberbullying Research Center, we've interviewed for bullying and hate, building resilience in kids from a young age. And Dr. Rich, again, supporting our kids' physical, mental and digital wellness. There's just so much we can't do in an hour. But there's a lot of stuff there. So I just want you to know that we have so much there for you. And actually, I didn't mention, the Cyber Academy is in 12 languages, including Ukrainian. We're working on the next 5. And we're working on German and Dutch and Hebrew as well. And it's in Arabian and Chinese. So we're going to get to 18 languages with the Cyber Academy. So bear that in mind. And the Digital Wellness Lab, again, this is recorded. We will host it on our website. And these, you can watch this back, but the digitalwellnesslab.org is a fantastic resource to have and to read up articles depending on what you need, because you only need information when something happens, don't you? So knowing where to go is really important. And after this, there is a Q&A, not a Q&A, sorry, Q&A after, once this webinar is over, for you, but you will get a survey. And just be honest with me about what you felt worked well in this webinar, what you'd like to see more of. And that will inform me for the next webinars what I need to create for content for you, to show you and to help you in your journey as parents, because it ain't fun. Well, it is fun, But it's hard. It's hard rearing kids with the internet when you feel they know more than you always. So please be honest. And if you'd like, put your email address in the comments field somewhere on the feedback form when you get there, when you hang up, and I'll put you in a raffle. We'll give away 5 antivirus software kits valid for 1 year for five devices. It's not really antivirus, it's anti-malware we call it, but I think everyone is familiar with antivirus software, which is why I say it. And I think that's pretty much it. Tremmicro.com, Internet Safety Events, IE, that's where this recording will be held. And I will just stop sharing my slides now and I will go to the questions. So for those of you who wish to hang up and just you've had enough of me, thank you for staying the hour. And for those who'd like to stay on, I will stay until I answer every question, okay? And thank you so much for your time. So I'm going to just stop the share there. And thanks, Una. We might just, will we share the screen, Ella? So let me see. Yeah, there's the 2 of us now. Okay, so thanks so much, Trisha and Shauna, for staying with us. And I'm going to, I hope it's been valuable to you in some way. And you know, you won't know all the answers in an hour, but I hope you know where to go. You can always contact us on our website. You'll get me. It'll come to me, and I'll be back to you. Thanks, Clonakilty, Daphne, and thank you so much. So I'm just going to look there now at the questions. The chat is disabled. I hope we fixed that, right? Right, let me see. Chat disabled. Gosh, there's a lot of them. We fixed that, Ella. Can you define device? Okay. Oops. Okay. So can you define device, Peter? Is TV a device? That's a very good question. And I actually said it earlier about the Kindle as well. You know, no device an hour before bed. And a lot of that, you know, these up close devices, because even on the Digital Wellness Lab, actually, there's an interesting blog on, is screen time damaging eyesight for kids? Like, you know, all these kids having to go get their glasses. And if you look at the research and the information, they're saying that when you have a device up to your eyes, close up to your face, your eyes are working harder and they're being strained. And if you're on it for long periods of time, then your eyes are getting dry and they're strained. And what they do, there's 2 things to do, is to do the 20-20-20, take it every 20 minutes, take 20 seconds away from your screen and look 20 meters away if you can, to give your eyes a break. And I think, to answer your question in relation to TV, it's far away. So as long as it's not making a child or teen hyper before they go to bed, maybe it's just something relaxing. It could be humor, it could be, you know, but just to chill and wind down. But an hour before bed, gaming, devices where the screen is up close to your eyes, it's just that blue light is being emitted. You can turn that down, by the way, as well in settings. You know, there are things like that you can do, but just that up closeness is what we want to avoid, to help young people just wind down for bed. And explain it to them, because they listen to logic. If I told them to go to bed at 8 o'clock, they'd be like, no. But if I gave them a good reason, they might consider it, you know? So same thing. It works for us too, doesn't it? So I hope that answered your question, Peter. Is a Kindle Paperwhite light okay? That's what they read in bed, yes. So interestingly, Amanda, my son had to stop reading his Kindle in bed because he realized that it made him wide awake. It was like drinking 5 cups of coffee. So he took a long time because he was wrecked every morning. It was the book. The Kindle was keeping him. It doesn't matter whether it was a book or a Kindle, but it just wired him up. For me personally, Kindle, 1, 2, 3, it's like hypnosis, I'm gone. So Kindle is fine. And Cara has said the Kindle Paperwhite, that's the one I have as well, I think. It has a really low blue light output compared to phones and TVs. Yeah. I've changed my screen to a black screen with white font as well. I kind of find that's easier on my eyes on the Kindle. Um, so it's something to consider. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so we have another question, Ella. We have a 13-and-a-half-year-old daughter. She's allowed 4 hours screen time during the school week. I presume that's like an hour a day or something. More at weekends. It causes a lot of friction. Second on her Christmas list is that we dispense with screen time, as she says none of her friends are on it, and she is too old for it now. Okay, so this is an excellent question, and I guess this is where it sounds to me like this is an excellent opportunity to have a conversation with them. So tell me, how much more time would you like? What would you like to do on it? Is there particular apps that you want? I want to know. I want to help you. I want to support you. And in order to do that, just tell me, talk to me, because I want to be practical. I want to be realistic. And then the reason the 4 hours was because of homework, right? So can we make rules? Can we agree together, what you need to get done before you can get to the screen time? So it's not really about screen time, it's about quality time online. What are they doing now? Chatting, hanging out with friends, all that kind of stuff. Maybe show her this webinar, sit down together and go through it, the settings. Maybe show her the Pulse survey from Digital Wellness Lab on young people, teens, the impact it has on their sleep, on their family and friend relationships, on their physical well-being, on their sense of body image. And say, well, I want you to be online. I don't want you feeling like you're being deprived compared to your friends, but we need to be aware of this too. So how can we come and meet in middle ground? It's such a great opportunity to talk. And I know if she's like my daughter, she just wants it, give it to me. But talk about it. We're not unreasonable here. Of course, you're getting older, you need more time. There's going to come a time when you flee the nest, you're going to be doing your own thing. At that stage, you want them, when you're not around, they're responsible citizens on their own, online and offline. That's the job of a parent, no pressure on us. But they also, when they're downloading an app or they're doing something online, they know settings, privacy, safety, manage my device. Don't let my device manage me. That's what you want them thinking. So if they understand that's why these rules are in place. And why were the 4 hours? Was it because of homework? Is there a lot of after school activities maybe? It depends. So use this. This is golden nugget time. This is brilliant opportunity to just get in there. And by loosening up the rules and extending the screen time and maybe giving her the screen time to manage for herself and look at it together then every week, you're showing her that you trust her. She's that age. You want to trust her. It's a maturity thing. Is she up for the challenge? You could turn this round. Maybe don't show her the end of the webinar where we're talking about this. What do you think, Ray? I hope it's anonymous attendee. I don't know if you're still on the call, but it was an excellent question and it's a tough one. And I get it here. They do outgrow their screen time a bit, especially, summertime, the midterm breaks, Christmas coming. They do have more time and they get really annoyed when they have to ask or if they're going on a sleepover. And again, now I will say this, don't know if this has come up in a question, but kids on sleepovers, kids on play dates, kids hanging out together. It's so important. And I said this on previous webinars, be in sync with the other parents, check in with them. Devices, what apps are they on? What are your rules? Can we all agree rules together? This is how I feel. What do you think? And then even just their close friends and their close friends' parents, just make rules, about that. Because what your friend, and it's harder when they go into secondary school as well, because I find you don't have as much contact with the parents at all, actually, when they go into secondary school. So it's hard, but they're getting older. They're growing into young adults and you want them managing their device. So use that as an opportunity. But for the younger kids, get right in there with the parents. Takes a village to raise a child, a full-on community to raise a child online. And whether, I think we all have to accept and acknowledge that our kids will be at the receiving end of unkindness. Fact. And they will be unkind. Fact. They will say mean things. They will say horrible things. Their prefrontal cortex doesn't develop until they're 25 fully. So our job is to help them understand their emotions and the impact and consequences of their words to others, especially when they're online. So being in there with the parents is really important, and that you're all in sync, and that like your child could be either end or both, different times. Just be aware of it, agree it. The Anti-Bullying Centre, it used to be in Trinity, it's in DCU now, and Dr. Mona Moore is the founder of that. And I'm just so lucky that I know the lady, and her research is vast and it's evidence-based. And it has to be everyone from the school bus to the bus driver, to the shopkeeper, to the teacher, the parents, and the friends, always, everyone together, keeping an eye out for each other. But when it comes to screen time, it's also a handy one to get in there and say, the rest of your friends aren't on it either, or here's another good one, actually, gaming. Organize for them all to be on gaming for an hour at a certain time. They're all on it for the hour. They set time every week, whatever the time is. That's managed time of fun. Getting in there with the parents again. Okay. Should you put the time limit on the device rather than giving warnings, 10, 5 minutes, 1 minute? Well, it gives you the 5-minute warning. It should do. It just pops up saying 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes before it detonates. It's just healthy, but it's up to you. I guess it's a tricky one. When you give warnings, so take a kid who's gaming, right? And they are totally in flow, loving their gaming. And next thing you come in and say 5 minutes and they don't hear you. And you come in again 2 minutes, they don't hear you. Okay, time up now, time up. Suddenly it's the first time they've heard you and the device has been taken off them. And it's just this dopamine. It's almost as good as, and I've said this in previous webinars, it's like a slap across the face. It's that severe. The dopamine is being ripped off, like it's gone suddenly. They were in such a happy place and now it's gone. So I think having devices pop up with screen times signals to them it's coming to an end. Fortnite is good for that, 20-minute games or less. Not too many of them, but the screen time is very useful as well for things like, if you Family Link or Microsoft or iOS, you can go into screen time and say, right, for Roblox, just 1 hour. That's it, no more. And they get the pop-up notice and there you go. Okay, so Diane, any suggestions for screen time management for someone about to turn 16? Diane, I'd nearly say to you, go to the Digital Wellness Lab, sit down with them and have a serious, just say, look, I'm really worried about you. I imagine you're asking this question because you're worried about them and the amount of time they're spending online. Go to the Digital Wellness Lab, right, .org, and the first thing you see is the pulse report. Click it and talk. Go through, the ones I showed you, they're just screenshots. There's a load of them. And the goal behind the survey is that it'll bring parents and educators and young people together to talk about them. The impact it's having on sleep, on productivity, on self-image, open it all up. And then maybe show her this webinar, sit down and talk to her about this webinar, you know? That helps, Diane. How long is long enough for a 17-year-old? Oh, they're getting older. See, I don't want to say the horse is bolted at 17, but I suppose like this, with the Cyber Academy, right? 7 to 10, getting right in there at a young age. Get all the class doing it, get the conversation going. It's about responsibility, it's about behavior, it's about them learning all the different things. It's about teaching them to be responsible digital citizens, right? At 17, they're obviously online a lot. They love it. They're getting something from it. Chatting, entertainment, friendship. Maybe they feel they've got more connections with people online than they have in their real world. Is that maybe a conversation? Long enough for a 17-year-old. If you look at the average time that kids are spending online, teens in Ireland, you're looking at 6 to 9 hours a day. I'm afraid Ray might pass out when she hears that. 6 to 9 hours a day. No, that could be TV as well, homework, Kindle, music, YouTube videos. Like, it's a big bag of mix, right? But how long is long enough? Do we have to talk quantity? We should really be thinking quality, you know? Are they creating a piece of art for an art project? Are they learning something? Are they having a really good chat with a friend that needs their help? Are they showing a friend how to build something in Roblox? You know, teamwork. There's so many benefits. Check out that previous webinar we did on gaming and social networks. It was great. I hope, Michelle, that answered your question. I have timers on devices and generally give them about 5-10 minute warning, but there is still war as they're in the middle of a game or a video. Yeah. Do you advise letting them finish or just say no? They were given their warnings, time's up, kids are 7 and 10. I would say that the time to have the conversation with them about this is not when they're gaming. Just let them finish it off and let them finish up. And, you can, when it's all over, the next day, when there's no game around, a few adults, one or two or just one adult, and sitting with them saying, okay, I don't want to be the cranky mammy, right? Doesn't suit me. Wasn't born to be the cranky mammy. Never going to be one. Don't turn me into one. Like, how much do you want time? When you say you want this time, please don't abuse it, because I feel then you're disrespecting me. I'm reasonable, I'm practical. Tell me how much time you want. Let's negotiate here. Let's put rules together. And when I say 5 minutes or whatever, seriously, that is it then, Now, those, what are those things called? Timers, egg timer things. Get one of them and put it upside down. But I mean, on the devices, they can pop up with the timeout as well. But Nicola, you might have heard earlier that dopamine hit, that's what's going on. So from a science perspective, you could explain that to them. Just like the melatonin at night, the secretion, the hormone, the tiredness. Dopamine is what they get, chemical being released when they're gaming and they're really loving what they're doing. And then it gets ripped off them. There is still war in the middle of a game. You're right. It's war. That's why the dopamine. So explain that to them, that you don't want to do that because you know how it upsets them and they're really enjoying themselves and it's lovely to see. But time is time. Ask them for their help with it. Meet them halfway. Might be a good thing for your 7 and 10-year-old to organize a group game where they game together. I think that's it. One more. My 14-year-old isn't allowed to have his phone at night, even though he tells me most of his friends do. And I know this is true because I see the notifications coming in after I take it off him. The compromise was we allow him to have it on Friday and Saturday, but I think this is messing up his body clock. This is a tough one. Again, do you remember the stats I showed you on the wellness, digital wellness? So I wonder, so you're on this webinar concerned about your child and at nighttime, and it's not just about sleep, which is what we've talked about, and the result of lack of sleep, that what it does to your body, right, the next day. But it's also, who are they talking with? Do they know these people? What is being said? There's so much danger. And I wonder, you know, all those kids who have the devices and are using them late at night in their bedroom, maybe, are their parents aware of these dangers that they pose, but also to the physical, mental well-being risks that they pose as well, you know? So I think, like with all the other answers, it's talking to them. At night, what time? You can look at the stats, like 25% kind of hang up the boots with the phone, the devices at 9 o'clock at night. Can you meet them halfway? Can you not allow it in the bedroom and allow them to have it downstairs or in a communal area until a certain time? I mean, what you want is for them to see that you're being reasonable, you're compromising. You want them to come to you when there's stuff going on and that they see that they can come to you. So it's almost like a laurel, you know, a leaf, or I don't know what I'm saying, but just meeting them halfway and showing them so that you're being practical and they think, she wasn't that bad actually. So try and meet them halfway, I would say. But like they're 14, they're heading, they're growing up, and you need them to take this responsibility. So they will have it at some stage. It's having the conversation. So again, use it as an opportunity for conversation and empower them with responsibility and check in with them regularly. And it's about trust and back to the relationship. Anonymous attendee, your gut is never far wrong. So follow your gut, but go in with it and use it as an opportunity to have conversation. Okay, we had that one. When you say no to TV, when you say no to devices, do you also mean TV? I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier. So TV is far away. It's okay, as long as it's not crazy stuff that'll wire a child up or a teen. Just keep them away from their faces, you know. Thanks, Emma. That's it. Poor Ray, she's exhausted. I think that's all the questions. Elaine, thank you so much. And Ella, I think we've gotten through all the questions. Yeah. We've done it again. This is the last episode of the year. Thank you so much, my partners in crime, Elaine and Ella and Ray. And thank you everyone for joining, because we wouldn't be here only for you. And we've had thousands of attendees through the year, and the feedback has been phenomenal, which is what keeps us doing it over and over again. And the feedback has also made me look at how to do things differently next year. Maybe more on the tutorials and more specific on things. So thank you so much. And I wish you a peaceful, relaxing break. I hope everyone's going to get some shape of one in the coming weeks. And Ella and Ray and Suzanne as well, from when she does the signing as well, the feedback on the webinars has always been so positive, and that they're so grateful to have you on the webinars, and they extend their thanks to you always. And I never get to say it to you because we're always just on webinars when I see you. So just so you know that people dialing in on the webinars are very grateful that you're with us as well. So thanks so much, and mind yourselves. Will you come back next year again? Hope you will. Take care. Bye-bye.